excited for quitting my job with zero notice? I'll start with 3 pieces of backstory. First, I was a pharmacist for years, but I eventually realized that I hated the profession and wanted to go back to school to become a physician. I applied and was accepted to start school in the fall of 2018. Second, my dad was diagnosed with a terminal illness in the summer of 2017. His condition rapidly deteriorated, and after several hospital stays, he was admitted once again in April 2018. He didn't like being in the hospital alone, so I took indefinite leave from work so I could stay with him. It wasn't exactly a pleasant experience for me. I recall one instance when I stayed for 5 consecutive nights and couldn't wait to get home for a shower, but it was nothing compared to what he went through. Third, my boss at the time was always terribly cruel to me, to the extent that he is honestly one of the few people I can say I've ever truly hated. To give just one example of the countless instances of abuse I suffered at his hands, I once submitted a vacation request for a 9-day period, Saturday, Sunday, and he approved all of it except the Wednesday in the middle, which he denied and made me work, effectively preventing me from going anywhere during my time off. Anyhow, when I went on FLA, I had to fill out a form that had a spot for my estimated return to work date. I put June 1. When June 1 rolled around, my dad was still in the hospital, and I got a text message from my boss asking why I wasn't at work. I was livid. He knew the situation I was in. He knew that June 1 was my estimated return to work date. He had not checked in with me at all during the several weeks I was on leave, and he had scheduled me to work on June 1 without informing me in any capacity. I had had enough of him and his disgusting behavior. I tried to call him, but he didn't pick up, so I sent him a text message, knowing that I would never need a reference from him, telling him that I quit and that he could find someone else to cover my shift. He immediately called me back and said, "So you're quitting with no notice?" I was like, "Yup." As petty as it may sound, hearing him on the phone not knowing what to say because he finally had no leverage over me was one of the most satisfying experiences of my life. My dad ended up dying 3 weeks later. So in retrospect, I'm even more satisfied that I quit when I did and was able to spend more time with him during his final days than I otherwise would have. And I'm also happy with my decision to leave pharmacy behind and pursue medicine. Medical school is tough as nails. I'm about a month into my 2nd year at this point. But I feel so much more fulfilled than I ever did as a pharmacist. Anyway, the reason I made this post is that I often see Redditors saying that there is never any excuse to quit a job without giving at least 2 weeks' notice. But I've always felt that this was a unique situation in which I was justified. So I wanted to get some opinions.